Welcome back to the Fuji Guy's channel. My name is Francis. So you've just got yourself a brand new Fujifilm GFX100S II and you'd like to know a little bit more about the features and how to operate it. Well, stay tuned. So to navigate the menus on the GFX100S II, you simply go and press onto the menu OK button, and then you can use the joystick to navigate the menus left, up, and down to the right. But you can also use the front and rear command dials, and that's quite useful if you want to be very fast. So when using the front command dial, it'll make you jump full pages. And then you can use the rear command dial to change single elements. And then you can also click it to act as OK to get into sub-menus. And then you press display back to go back. And then if you use the joystick, you can also use it to click and then act as OK as well. So on the GFX100S II, you're going to be using your front command dial to change your ISO. You're going to be changing your shutter speed with the rear command dial. And then the aperture is going to be changed onto the lens itself. Now, if you wanted to change your aperture with the front command dial, you can change the ring position to C and then press onto the front command dial. That will make you toggle between ISO and aperture. So now I can change my aperture using the front command dial. But if you prefer, use the ring just like that. That's how I prefer to use it. But if you wanted, you can do so. Now the GFX100S II has a PSAM dial, so you can change between manual, aperture priority, shutter speed priority, program, and our 6 custom positions right here. So the GFX100S II has a lot of autofocusing options. So first, let's go into the menu to the AF/MF setting menu, and then we can choose the AF mode. So we have single point, which will be our single box, which when I press onto the joystick, I can see it becomes green. I can move it around, but I can also change its size. So very small to a bigger box. If I go back into the menu, I can choose zone. So that will allow me to select a zone with where the camera will select within that zone where the focus. So I can again move the joystick and then make that focus box bigger or smaller. Now within that same menu, if I go into zone custom setting, I can go and customize my zones. So I can make it taller and wider. And within that menu, I can choose 3 different options of custom zones that I can go in, customize. And again, I have 3 of these that I can customize. Now we have wide tracking, which when using AFC will allow me to use the focus box to start tracking. It's going to be quite useful if you want to track an object or something that's not within the subject detection or a human face. And then lastly, we have the option to choose all, which will allow us to scroll through all of the various modes just by rotating the rear command dial. Now the GFX100S II features face and eye detection as well as subject detection. So if I want to go and enable that, I can go again into the AF/MF menu setting, and then I can go onto the second page to face and eye detection setting, and then I can go in and only select the faces, or I can choose eye auto, which will let the camera decide which eye to focus on, which one is closest to the lens. I can choose the right eye or the left eye priority. Now within that same menu, just underneath, I can go and select subject detection, and then I can choose whether I want to track animals, birds, automobiles, motorcycles and bikes, airplanes, or trains. Now let's have a look at our LCD options. So first I can go in and to the setup menu, to the screen setup, and then I can go and customize what I want to see on my LCD. So if I go down to the third page, I can go and turn on the large indicator mode for the LCD or the EVF. So if I turn it on, you'll see now that all of my icons become quite big, so easier to read. If I go back to that same menu, I can go into display custom setting, and then I have 5 pages of different items that I can show or remove from my LCD. So if I wanted to enable the histogram, I can do that. I can show the live view alert for the highlights when they're blown, and then you can see all of these reflected on the screen as I turn them on. Now we also have a sub monitor on the top, which is quite useful to quickly get a look at our settings, just looking down at the camera. And then we can see we have a button here so we can light it up and better see all of our information. Now another cool thing is that we can toggle different view modes for the sub LCD. So by default, pressing this button lets me toggle through all of the different options. So we have virtual dials, so whenever you change settings, you can see them on the top changing. You have a live histogram as well, and then again you have informations there that can be customized as well. So how do we go about customizing the screen? Simply go into the menu and then go to the 4th page and then to sub monitor setting, and then we have the option to customize the stills mode and then the movie mode, and then we can go in, and for the information screen I can go in and see all of the areas that I can customize. So I can go into this one, for example, and then change it for aperture instead, and then have this one be shutter speed instead. And then these have moved around. And then again, you can go and make it however you like. And then as I switch to the movie mode, you can see all of the information displayed are different. So you have independent settings for the movie side and then for the still side. So the GFX100S II is highly customizable. We have a lot of function buttons that we can set, as well as touch functions. So how do we go about setting them? Is you simply press on the display back button for a couple seconds, and then you'll see a diagram pop up with the camera on it, and then you can go down and highlighted in green is going to be your function button that you can customize. You also see the touch functions, so left, right, up, and down, that can be customized. So you simply choose the button you want to customize, press OK, and then you can navigate through 9 pages of options that you can assign to these buttons. So as mentioned earlier, the GFX100S II features 6 customizable positions, so C1 to C6, and these will be independent from the still sides and the movie side. So how do you go about setting them up? You go into the menu, and then you go to the IQ menu, to the 3rd page, and then you have Edit Save Custom Setting, and then you can go and press on Edit and check, and then you can go and manually change all of these settings. So you can choose whether you want it to be in program mode, shutter priority, aperture priority, full manual. You can go and change all of the settings of the camera. Now I highly recommend that you turn off auto update custom settings, because anytime you're going to change something within the C1 and C6 position, they're going to be recorded, which kind of defeats the purpose of what you want to do. Now ultimately you can go and set it to enable, make all your changes onto the C1 to C6, and once you're done making all of these changes, you can disable it, so that way everything is recorded and won't be changed afterwards. Now I hope you enjoyed this video on how to set up a couple features on your brand new GFX100S II, and until next time, c'était Francis pour les Fuji Guys.